We'll start up today, right, with the AI section first of all. We will see what is AI and its implementation in the industry. Okay, so we'll start this. Okay, so the first term, that is artificial intelligence. This was first coined by Sir John McCarthy in 1956. Okay, this term was first coined by the Sir, right? And why this AI has got so much existence in this upcoming the past 5 to 10 years or 12 years, why this has got so much existence and like so much importance, we'll discuss that too, right? Okay, right. Who is presenting up there? You only need to join up, okay? All right. So when we go for defining this AI, so AI can be defined. This is like a, you can say, lines over there written up, right? So don't go with that. If just defining AI in some few words, if we just go on for that. So AI is the mimic of human. Okay, human activity. So the mimic of human activity is we call as something as artificial intelligence. Now, if we just deeply understand these things, AI, what is it there? There we have two words, artificial and intelligence, right? So intelligence is something which is something another one to discuss on one main topic. What is intelligence? We will see that too. Okay, but what is this artificial? Now, artificial is something which is not natural, right? So, not natural is an artificial, and giving intelligence in such a thing which is not natural, or giving intelligence which is in a thing which is not an intelligence, right? Or you can say imparting intelligence to a non-living object, right? Or an let's say imparting intelligence to any artificial object is called as artificial intelligence, right? Okay, and giving it the power of how exactly human thinks or human decides or do any kind of thing, right? So AI is the development of computer systems that are capable of performing tasks that normally require HI. Now again a term is coming up, HI. So like when you go for understanding artificial intelligence, right? The very first thing is you must have is the human intelligence. So if you have human intelligence, you can go up with the artificial intelligence, AI. So for AI, you need HI, right? HI means that you can apply your common human or common artificial intelligence things, or common, let's say, you can apply your common problems, right? You can apply skills for solving of the problems. That is, if you have your HI, that would work much better in the field of AI. Okay, so AI is the development of computer systems that are capable of performing tasks that normally require human intelligence, such as you can say decision making, object detection, or like solving complex problems. Okay, and like and so on. We'll be going to discuss now. That was the definition of AI, right? But what was the definition according to the father of the AI? He said that the science and the engineering of making intelligent machines. Nowadays, there are a lot of machines available in the industry, in the markets, right? But all those machines are not artificial intelligence machine, right? So that is the machines, the science and engineering of making intelligent machines. So the machines which are intelligent will be termed as an artificial intelligence machine. Okay, so especially intelligent computer programs is the main focus to build on, right? So computer programs is also like available all over the area, right? The students make programs, computer programs. A lot of guys make these computer programs, but making something program which is quite intelligent is called as making some programs which is quite intelligent and imparting that into machine, or like implementing it in the machine, will call it as an intelligent computer program, right? And that to an intelligent machine, right? Got it? So AI is a way of making a computer, or like you can say, is making a super computer controlled robot or a software which could think like a human, right? Which would think like a human. Now, every time, sometimes, not every time, it happens like whenever I ask to students like, what is AI? So they say that the AI is the skill of making robots, right? So it is not the skill of making robots. Okay, you make robots over there in the AI. We make robots which are quite good, right? We are having still in this. We are having Sophia, and a lot more are there, right? So AI is not like making robot. It is like making computer controlled robot, right? An intelligent robot, not exactly one robot. Little work. So there are various types, right? When I talk for machines, intelligent machines. When I talk for programs, intelligent programs. When I talk for this robots, intelligent robots. Okay, so everywhere intelligence comes, right? What is intelligence? We'll see all that too. Okay, so AI accomplished by studying of how human brain thinks and how human learn, decide, and even work while trying to solve any problems. And then after analyzing all these, they come with an outcome of the study, and then it uses this knowledge to develop its own software and the system. So we'll see that too. All right. Okay. Now, like whatever your topic is like AI ML, right? So is the AI and ML are same? So they are not quite same because they are both different fields. Now, if I say that science and physics, so is science and physics same? No. So inside science there are a lot of things, and physics is one part of that science, right? So similarly, inside AI there are a lot of things, and ML is one part of AI. Okay. So throughout your workshop, you will be seeing up some skills of AI, how to implement this, and some skills of machine learning. Okay, fine. So AI and machine learning are not quite same, but the perception that they are sometimes like you get confused, right? Why? Because student get it this is AI and this is ML. There are many companies, many industries in this era, giving you an AI or giving you an ML course with the AI. So a lot of thing comes there, right? Then it makes students like confused, right? So ML is a subset of an AI. Okay, all right, yeah, fine. So this is all about. You will be reading up this PPT. Okay. So what AI consists of? What are the domains in the AI? What are the fields in this AI? So we have computer science, we have psychology, we have neuron science, we have biology, we have mathematics, sociology, philosophy, and these are all comprised. These sectors are all focused with this AI, right? So we belong to this category mostly in this computer science or in the mathematics, like, right? So let's say this is a AI model or like an intelligent machine. It's there. So what it can do, it can make its own decision, and with also a very fast accuracy. It can solve complex problems and perform high level computations with also the increased accuracy. Now comes about the domain of AI. So we will be discussing in this one domain of AI. Will be discussing in detail afterwards. Okay, but still, let's just see that what are the domains. This is machine learning. We'll be having this in the workshop, right? We are having neural networks, like the topics. What to be? We'll be discussing one topics with all of them. Okay, so we have machine learning, we have neural networks, we have robotics, we have expert systems, we have fuzzy logic, and NLP, natural language processing. So this is our main domain to discuss in this workshop. Okay, we'll be going up with this machine learning part. Although we'll be going up the neural networks, the robotics, the expert systems, and all these will have a glance on all of these as okay. Moving up. So, what is the difference between a system with an AI and a system without AI? right? What is the major difference between these things? Let's say this is a system without AI, and the system is A, and this is a system with AI, and this system belongs to B. All right. Okay. Now, as you can see, the very first definition is a computer program with without AI, right? A computer program without AI can answer the specific questions it is meant to solve. All right, the specific questions which is meant to solve, and without AI machine. Now, with the AI, it can answer the generic questions. So the only difference is between the specific and the generic. Okay. So generic questions mean that you'll be giving it a knowledge, you'll be giving it a method, you will make it learn of how to use something. And in this part, in this machine, what happens? You give the programs that if this program comes, you have to execute this, right? Like that. Let's say in the system without AI, I made a program that 2 multiplied by 3 is equals to 6. And in this, what I said, this is the multiplication operator. And whenever the 2 identity comes inside this, what you have to do is you have to multiply this and you have to answer the whatever it is, right? So for example, I gave it that 2 multiplied by 3 equals 6. So what is the difference between the training of these two systems? In this system, I made a program, I feed that program. In this system, I made or I feed the system of how to operate this operator. Okay, so that is the difference. Now, if someone asks this system, right, what is the what is the value of 2 multiplied by 3? It will no doubtly it will give correct answer, that is 6, right? Within some seconds it will give the answers. Similarly, if just ask with this question, the same question with this machine, it will be answering it 2 multiplied by 3 is 6. That is again correct. Now if I ask this machine what is the value of 4 multiplied by 5, so it will raise you a error. That that will be an error out there. Why this error will be there? Because you have only fed the machine with the data of that 2 multiplied by 3 is equals to 6, right? You haven't given any data 4 multiplied by 5 value, so it will not if it will not give you any output over there, right? But if you ask the same question here, like what is the value of 4 multiplied by 5, in this case you will be getting your answer, because this machine knows how to operate this multiplication operator, and it will give you the answer that this is equals to 20, right? So that is the difference between a system with AI and system without AI. You make the system learn in the AI part, right? You made the method, you make the system learn out how to make something, how to think over that, right? And in the system without AI, it is all about the programs you feed and the outcomes which come, right? Very simple. So modification in the program in the system without AI leads to change in its whole structure. And when it comes in the system with AI, the programs can absorb new modifications by putting highly independent pieces of information together, right? You can give a lot of things to learn at a time, right? You can even modify it every minute or you want as per, right? So modification is not very easy in system without AI. There you have to erase all those things and you have to define those things from the starting. But in case of the system with AI, it is very easy to work over there. Okay. Moving up. Now, what is the requirement of this AI? Okay. What is the requirement in the today's industry? What is the requirement of this AI? So, in the real world, right, we have data, and that goes even in the trillions and tons of this, right? So, what comes there? You let's say you have a file, right? It is having some sort of data. So this can be in KB, this can be in MB, and this can be in inside. Now the day when you born, right? The day when you born there, and you started looking up the things. So the day when your eye opened, right? You started collecting the data, right? That is how system exactly does. The day when it start working, it start collecting the data and it store it in the memory. So whatever you have stored, had you ever thought like how do you remember the phone numbers? How did you remember the faces and all, right? So what you have seen those things and you have memorized those things in your memory. So whenever it comes in front of you, just you go back, take just a flashback within some seconds, and then you come with an outcome. Okay, this is this person, right? That is how, or like reminding AD number or like something. So, okay, that is how we do. Similarly, this is done with the machines, right? So you feed data to this machine, and then you ask it. So that data is growing day by day, right? Not even day by day; it's growing every second. Okay, so every second this data is growing up. You converse between two numbers. You talk on like WhatsApp. You talk on Facebook messengers anywhere, right? So where these data are actually going on. So it is like making up the data, right? It is making up skills, and these are then used for giving a chat bot or just conversations are basically used. They take the conversations and make NLP or a kind of thing. Okay, so in the real world, the data is very large. Okay, and you can say it's very huge. You can't imagine even then how much huge this data is. Like it is related to everything we are having in this universe. Everything we can just see it there, right? From a tree, a chair, anything, right? So and the data itself is like it is not always constant, right? It keeps changing. It always keeps changing. Like let's say you say that whenever you were born, right, in any particular hospital or right there, right? So the hospital will be having your data, right? And that data would be also in the national heads and all, like the birth, all where the birth records are taken up, right? So it will be there, like if you were born in 1990s, let's say, right? Or 99 or 96 or like kind of, so that time you were like zero, right? So after this 200 and sorry 2020, their data must be have changed, right? So it would be like you were now 21 years or 20 years or 22 years, like that, right? So that is data always keep changing on, right? That is the main issue. Okay, moving up. So what is the requirement? We saw that this is the requirement of that the technique should be followed of AI to maintain these things, because we human can't do a lot of things at a time, right? That is a basic functionality of a computer, that it can perform multitask, right? Okay, so that is why we use this AI even to modify up more things to make it better, right? So the AI used in the is a gaming sector, right? So it plays a crucial role in the strategic gaming, like a chess or many games are there, right? Where we human used to think a lot of, right? So where there are probabilities or kind of mathematics too, you can say. Okay, we use a natural language to like communicate between one to another machines, or like you can say for the people to people communication with some other languages. We use this NLP over there. We use expert systems. Nowadays, it is being like the flight tracking system, or let's say even now we have also the systems that we can just land the flight, or we can land at the planes even from the ground, right? So that is all how this is being done nowadays with the help of AI. And even we have some vision systems which plays very crucial role in any of the, like a spying aeroplane takes photograph which used to figure out spatial information or like for the maps or the areas. A lot of things are there, right? So doctor uses this clinical expert system to diagnose their patients and all, right? Then this maybe you would have seen the you can say episodes or the things like in the movies and all. We do what we see there, like in the sci-fi movies. What is there? That is, they are using some kind of face recognition system, right? That is built in AI purpose. That is totally built on the basis of AI. Okay, all right. Moving up, so again there is speech recognition. Okay, and we'll also have a topic on this speech versus the voice recognition. Like many of the people are not actually aware what is speech recognition, what is voice recognition, and they get confused. Like in the market, the marketers actually make fool of these things to the people, as they are every time confused on this. Like they say this is an AI based mobile, right? Or this is an let's say mm, this is speech recognition device or voice recognition device. Now, why they say this is an AI based mobile? The very basic functionality of an AI based mobile is like it can go on its own skills, like it can do tasks automatically, right? Automatically in the sense like it can, its power saving mode will be automatic, right? And any more functionalities over there, advanced features. The very basic is that it can detect your face, right? We were having mobiles in 90s to, right, screen touch in 2005 7 and all. What was the difference, right? When you open your front camera there, you can see now a box coming inside, like enclosing your face over there, right? A box coming up, that is actually a face detection feature, right? It is detecting your faces wherever you are going. In many mobile phones it is like it is also calculating the distance you are having from your face to your phone, right? So those are an advanced feature of this computer vision which comes inside this AI. Okay, that comes inside this AI part. All right, moving up. Okay, so that is computer vision part. All right, we'll go in that too. But speech recognition is like some intelligent systems are capable of hearing and comprehending the language. Like let's say, if even I am trying to, so this is listening actually, right? If I just give you an example with this, let's say how speech recognition works, right? Well, just giving you an example. Let's say I want to write up here something, right? So again, start up speaking and it will be written up there, right? Done. Okay. So you might see, right? So whatever I'll be speaking out there, it will be just going like that. Okay. So these are the basic things. Okay. I think that is clear to you, right? So speech recognition is like you speak something and that is being written up there. Okay, that is exactly a speech, how it works. Right. Now, this is not the voice recognition, right? Many times they have doubt. This is a voice recognition. This is not a voice recognition. This is a speech. This was basically a speech recognition. Like whatever the human is speaking, you'll have to listen that, right? You'll have to write those things, okay, or like all those things. So it goes in the speech recognition, and then it also goes in the writing recognition, right? If you are making something in the case of like in the writing purpose, you can go with that too. Okay, now intelligent robots. Now when I talk about intelligent robots, as I said you, intelligent like robots are able to perform tasks given by human. If they try to perform those tasks in an intelligent way, all right, let's say in a way where they will be thinking of for every condition by their own, will not have to define any such things, right? So what in that case? In that case, it will be called as an intelligent robot, right? Okay, moving up. Now, coming up to the topic that is artificial, I think it's over, right? Now, what about intelligence? So, the ability of all these things, now try to just analyze what I'm saying. Uh, so, so the ability to calculate, ability of reason, perceive relationships, analogies, the ability of learning from your experience, store and retrieve information from memory, solve some problems and with some complex ideas using NLP, classifying things, generalizing things, or adapting new situations. This all leads to the term called as, okay, this all leads to the term called as your intelligence. Okay, so it is basically composed of reasoning, learning, logistic reasoning, problem solving, and perception. Right? Why I am saying this? For any when you go for solving anything, right? Why you need AI to solve some problems, right? You are you will be using AI for solving some problems, right? That is a problem solving, right? And for problem solving, you must be having some perception, right? Right, that perception. And when you start solving that, you will be applying some reasoning, and even though some of the logistic reasoning part, and through the process, the machine will go under the learning, and that is called as intelligence. All about the five things. Okay, I hope this is clear. Next, what are the intelligence stages we are having in AI? So we are having three: ANI, AGI, and ASI. Now, ANI is a narrow intelligence, right? The weakest stage of artificial intelligence where machine can perform only a specific task given to it. Let it be for Siri or Google Assistant, or like kind of. Okay, moving on. Then we have AGI, which is like working in nowadays. That is a stage of artificial where the machine possesses the ability of how to think like human, right? And how it works, like for the Tesla and all. Then we have ASI, which is a thing you see exactly in the sci-fi movies, in the Hollywood, Bollywood there, right? That is all about the ASI, where the systems surpass the human intelligence and they go beyond the thinking of the human in the work there, right? That is all about this ASI. Okay. Now you can see reactive machine. It's a kind of machine developed by the IBMs in the mid 1980s, and this machine could play basically a game, right? Not exactly like a game. It could play a chess game. Okay, so it was able to play a chess game, and the man you can see up here is I think Gary Kasparov. Okay, so there was a match played between 1960, 1996, 97 or 99, I think. Let's see, yeah, 1996 and 97. All right. So there was a match played between 96 and 97 with the machine, right? That machine name was Deep Blue. Okay. That Deep Blue defeated Russian chess grandmaster, right? You might be knowing him, Gary Kasparov. So from 2.5 games, and what become as, and it came as a first computerized program to defeat any human opponent, and that too very great chess player, right? So that was the machine, reactive machine. Now implementations these are like, so we are having Tesla, right? Tesla driving cars and all. So with limited memories. So what are these? How this works actually? So there, this machine or this you can say the system has been given a predefined learning process. Right? This system might have gone, not might, it must have gone with all the predefined learning process, like all the data, like if we how to drive exactly, right? So it has got all the learning process of how to drive, like when a car comes from left or right, any vehicle come from the left, how to move the steering or which gear to put on, or like all those things, right? How to drive actually. Okay, so it has given the uh, feeding of the data of how to go with the real life problems and implementations during the drivings. Okay. Then we have the theory of mind, that is exactly the decision making ability of a human being. But by machines, you can go with the voice assistance, speech recognition, voice recognitions, and all. Okay, so you can go with all those things. Now, uh, then we have one self awareness. Now, this is a state where the machines basically goes inside this self consciousness. Okay, so that is machine would only able to understand that it's being now destructive or any such thing, right? If it is working, it can go for understanding things by their own, for its own, right? For the awareness, you can say. And that is very a bad state exactly for human beings. So this type of things is not exactly being in existence for now. Okay. Yeah, then we have speech and voice. So this was the topic what I was saying about. Okay. Well, there's green is there. Nice, it is. Oh, yeah, fine. So this both terms are common in robotics, expert systems, natural language processing, though these are different, right? So in speech recognition, it aims at understanding and comprehending what was spoken. That is what I did just some minutes ago, right? I said something and that was written inside the text box, right? That is, it understand and comprehend that what is being spoken, and it uses hand-free computing or map or menu navigation like you do in the Google Assistants and all. You just speak out there and it is written up there, right? The machine did not need any training and it is not a speaker dependent. Like anyone can come and speak up anything and it will be written up there, right? So if Google Assistant is a speech or like if it is a speaker dependent, then you cannot use those things, right? So that is why this is called as speech recognition. So speech recognition does not need any training. You just go and speak out whatever you want. It will be done there, right? So it is not speaker dependent. And speaker independent speech recognitions, this systems are used to build some difficulties over there. Okay. Now, in case of a voice recognition, the objective is only, or the aim is only to understand like who is speaking, right? Now, in the security purpose, there is a combined thing of a speech as well as a voice. Okay. Now, who is speaking and what is speaking the matters. Not only who is speaking matters. Like when you go for security purpose, you see like who is speaking and what he is speaking. Right, that is the purpose there. So voice recognition goes like who is speaking. If it is any other sound, then not, to respond or not to respond, that depends on you, right? So it analyzes person's tone, voice, pitch, accent, everything, right? It basically identify a person itself. Alright. So recognition system needs training as and it is a person oriented because there it will be identifying your voice. So that Cortana says you that speak this, and I'll be trained by you. So that is like it gets to your voice and pitch and all those things in different tones and all, right? So this is a speaker dependent speech, and this I use to develop some security purpose too. So that's all about AI. I think that is clear to you guys. Okay, so that is all about AI. Now, we'll be just seeing up some basics of the Python. Okay, so we'll be using Python language, right, to implement all these things. So first we'll be clearing up our AI part, and then we can go with our Python and all. Sorry, the machine learnings and all. Okay. All right. So we'll be using up Anaconda Navigator. So your classes will be like we'll be having 1 hour class and 1 hour for the assignments. Okay. So once you install all these anacondas and all, right, if you have Python, that's well. If you don't have, just download those things, and that will be like this. Okay, fine. So today, like I believe that you might be knowing up some Python. So how many of you are new to Python? How many of you know Python? Like basics, if you know. Shailendras. Okay. What about Supratik, Abdul, and all? You guys know Python? Syntax and stuff, I know. Okay. Yes. Right. Okay, that's fine. All right. So I'll be just giving you a quick review of the things of the Python, right? And based on that, you'll be getting up the assignment today, right? Just to test like how much you know about the Python and all, right? Just a small test of all. So, well, take a folder. Mm, there it is. Where it is. Where it is. Yeah, untitled. Well, okay. So, like you all know about the things, so I'm not going from the starting. So, just covering up all the data types today, right? And then we'll give you some assignments. Okay. So in Python we have data type. Okay, 1 minute. This side AIML. Okay. Now in the Python you have data types, and what are the kind of data types you are having in the Python? That is, you have some numeric data type, you have string, you have list, you have tuple, you have set, you have dictionary, right? You have str. So how many things are there? Integer, float, complex, str, list, tuple, set, and dictionary. So we'll be covering up this. Okay. All right. Let's just start with all the integers and all. Okay. So what are the integers and like let's say A, B, C, and D? Just making you a reminder of all those things, all those stuffs. Okay. So let's say A, B, C, D, and also take E. All right. So this is an integer. This is a float. This is a complex number. This is a string. This is a list. This is a tuple. These are sets. And these are dictionaries. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. E, F, G, and H. thing worked on. All right. So for 8 things, we have like all the things. Now we'll print all this A to Z. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Okay, only up to H. So that is A is 23, B is 45, and all of the things has been written up. So we can see integer, we can see float, we can see complex, we can see string, we can see list, we can see tuple, sets, and the dictionaries. Okay, fine. So what are the type of the things? So we can just quickly apply loop for x in. Okay, fine. So let us say this y as comprised of all the things. All right. So let's say for I in y, print I and also the type of I. So you can see all those things. That is, first is 23 and it's an integer. And then you have 46, 45.6, it is float. 57J, it's complex. String, it's str. And obviously the list is 1 and 2. This is a tuple, this is a set, and this is a dictionary. So all the classes and all you have seen, right? So these are the basic things, right? And now if we just focus on uh, if I say for the string purpose, so in string what you can what are the things you can do, like let's say you want to check any file, right? You want to check any file extension. So how do we check file extension? Let's say we have an extension as png or sorry as png or as jpg or jpeg, gif, svg, and what more are there? Anything left? png, jpg, jpg, svg. There's one more kind. Okay, leave that. I'm not remembering that. So this can be an extension for an image file. Okay. So let's just take if a user is giving any file name, fname, that will be an input or just the input, right? And after that, what you will do? I'm just making you see some of the operations of the Python, right? So split up with this dot. And if the fname, or let's say if the length of this fname is greater than or equals to 2, if it is such, then we'll take up some f extension. So fname extension would be fname of -1 dot the lower, right? So that will be the extension, the last part of that. So what we'll do is we'll make that once this extension has been defined, we'll be going up with the if name extensions. Yeah. Then we'll take up some if here. Now, if the f name extension lies in your extension part. So if this lies in your extension, right? F name extern is if it lies in your extension, then we'll just go on, right? So we'll write upload successful, right? And if it is not such, then upload failed. And similarly, like even if the file is even not splitted up, then we'll write up that failed to load file. Let's like run the A of thing. Let's say I wanna write some book.pdf. So in that case, upload is failed, right? And if I just write it as book dot or even only the book, so failed to load the file, and there you can write it as no extension, right? So let's say book, so failed to load the file, and it's being printed that no extension is there. So let's just write it with any of the following. So upload successful, right? So that is like a common operation on the string, or let's say with the string purpose, right? So I hope this all methods are very clear to you, right? So if you don't have this, no need to worry up, right? You can go with the basics of the Python. All right, so we are having a batch for basics of the Python. You can join it if you want. All right, so these are the basics of the string, right? Now going up with the list. Now let's say you're having a list of numbers, right? That is x equals a blank list, and we are saying for x in range of some 10,000 numbers, right? Okay, 1 second. Yeah, so for x in the range of some 10,000 numbers, what we'll do, we'll make positive numbers one side and negative numbers one side, right? So for this, one more thing, we'll be using some randoms over here so that we can get some. So from random, I'll just import some random numbers, okay? And for x in a range of 10,000, what we'll say that n is equals to integer of, let's say for the random, multiplied by 20 and minus by 10. And then okay, just make it as a. So a dot append, so we'll append the value of this n, right? We'll be appending the value of this n, and we'll just print the n of first 10. End object is not subscriptable in the first. Okay, cool. Oh, sorry, it's a of 10. So we could see some of the numbers. Now if we see the length of a, so length of a is 10,000. That is, it is having some 10,000 numbers. Now that can be positive and that can be even negative. So our main goal is now to separate the positive numbers and separate the negative numbers from here. So what we'll do now, we'll make a positive list. Similarly, we'll make a negative list. And we'll say for I in this a, if your I is less than 0, then just append it in the positive. That's it. Or else append it in the negative. Not this, not this. And if your I is 0, alright, so clear I think, right? And then we'll just print the length of a, then the length of positive, then the length of negative, and then the length of 0, right? Run this. Alright, that is out of 10,000 numbers, 5054 are positive numbers, 4468 are negative numbers, and 478 zeros are there. So let's just see first 10 of the 0. Alright, so everything will be 0 up there. So we are having 478 zeros among the 10,000 numbers, right? Negative numbers, negative of first 10. Cool, that is, what is it? Negative of first 10 is being pointed, right? Less than 0 will be in the negative. Shit. So something will be changed now to be positive. Run this again. So this will be the negative and this will be the positive. Alright. So positive numbers are 1, 2. So positive 4468, negative 5054, and 0 remains the same, right? That will be the same thing. So a common, just a program of what you can do with help of less than all, right? You can replace things, you can find the longest words based on anything, right? And you can even go for expanding any words from like the beginning to the ending. Okay, so we are just seeing the implementation of this Python. That is exactly necessary, like for brushing up the skills you're having. So let's say you're having a first program as input. Okay, let's just take an input and this is right. This is to be the first thing. Right, so like it's a basic program going to do for expanding a string from A to Z, right, kind of thing, right? Let's just take similarly for the second, copy, paste, second, or let's say the last. All right. So take the input and split it into parts. Okay, cool. And what will say now, while this first is less than equals to this last, right? While this first input, whatever it is less than equals to the last, will print first. And so I believe you all know this about, right? Because if you know the syntax and all of the things, you must be aware of all this. So let's say 45. That is 5. Okay. Similarly, let's say AZ. Not what I did. Okay. AZ. So all the letters between A to Z. Alright. So that is like you can go with the things. I think it is very clear to you. Right? These are the basic programs. You can go with the uh, functionalities of the data types, right? So we want to find the maximum number of a float, like minimum number of a float. In that case, right? A lot of things you can do. You can go for various programs are there. Find the longest word in a string, the shortest word of a string. If you're having a whole textbook and you want to find the shortest word in the whole textbook, so that is how you can make it there, right? So representing any string in sort of any numbers kind of thing, right? Making a sum of all those things. Just make it up. Just making a small program of the sums of all items, right? Just make a program over there. Let's say so. Just say m is equals to 7 and n is equals to 5. So we'll be making up a matrix, a blank matrix, okay, and the row sums 0 multiplied by the n, and the column sums to be 0 multiplied by m, right? And we'll write that for I in the range of this n, we'll say row to be a blank list, okay, and inside that we'll be applying a loop that for I in the range of this m, we'll say row dot append int 0 to 3, and then we'll be appending those things in the matrix. So append the values to the row. Similarly, we'll be taking up another thing that for I in range of n, another loop, same. Now in this one, for j, we'll be taking up very soon as compared to the previous. For j in the range of m, will say that row of sums of I to be like equals to this matrix of I multiplied by the j, right? Similar to this thing. Similarly, the columns of this columns would be j, will be equals to this matrix of I and j. I completed, j completed, okay. So let's say for I in range of this n now, print, that's the final process, that is print out the matrix of this I, and then we'll give some gaps, right? And then the row sums, okay, of this I think should run. Let's see. Planet is not defined. Alright. Cool. So I can see some numbers over there, right? The sum of the rows and even the sum of the columns and the such things over there. So you can see of the instance. So like 2 plus 2, 4 plus 3, 7, 8, 10, 12 and 13. So sum of the rows is 13. What are the sum of the columns? 1 plus 0, 1 plus 2 plus 3, 5, and that's 5. Alright. So some of things, right? Slightly things of a list or the usage of for loops and all. I think that is clear, right? So you can go with the dictionaries or with the sets even, right, to find up those things. Similarly to, like, if you want to delete a thing from a, let's say, from any sets, right? So what is exactly in the set? Exactly in the set is comprised of some unduplicate elements, right? Or let's say if you have any element and any alphabet and you want to recognize the number of that alphabet, so how to do those things, right? You can just write it. Let's say this is your A. What is the number of A? Let's say this is G. What is the number of G? So it will be the ordinal. So it will be the move this. Yep. So ordinal of G minus your ordinal of A. This is minus and plus 1. That is 7. So G comes at 7 positions, right? So you can take anything, right? Let's say for Z, it's 26. Hmm? So like these are some of the concepts of how to, so differentiating on the basis of the ASCII codes and all. I think it's clear. I hope it is clear, right? Okay. So similarly, just coming up to the sets. So you can see anything in the set as a superset or subset. Like let's say this is your A, and that is 1 and 2. Let's say this is B, which is comprised of 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, if you want to see a subset, you will be writing an A is subset of this B, and you'll getting some Boolean values. So it is true because every element of the A is lying inside this B, right? You can write B is superset of A. Oh, sorry, this is not A. So that is even true, right? Because you're having everything of this, you're having the components of A inside this B, right? So that is the cases of sets and all about the dictionaries and all things, right? So I hope that is all clear to you. So we'll be starting up tomorrow. We'll be seeing up what are the usage of more implementations of the AI, and we'll just go on for the data analyzing part. We'll start up with the data things, right? So that you can go with all the packages and all. And because in the machine learning concepts, we'll be using those things. I will have to analyze the data before we just go for making any model. So for that, we'll be using up for the data analyzations. All right. So I hope today's things would be clear to you.